It's far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Purport. One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness, rather than those prescribed for others. Materially, prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition, under the spell of the modes of material nature. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. But whether material or spiritual, one should stick to his prescribed duties, even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duties. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for his particular situation and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmin who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya, it is better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmin who follows the principles of non-violence. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmin, or a Brahmin may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishamritra was originally a Kshatriya, but later on he acted as a Brahmin, whereas Parshuram was a Brahmin, but later on he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendently situated, they could do so. But as long as one is on the material path, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnana Timirantasya Jnanaya Shalakaya Lakshmanaditanvina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupapadam Bhati Shubhamantikam Amdeham Shri Guru Shri Vadapakamam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sarvashatam Shahadam Bhagavatam Tam Sahi Svadvaitam Savasutam Krishna Sehitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Radham Bhavana Gopika Sri Vishakam He Krishna Kapuruman Singho Deenabandho Devate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Jayadvaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama The nuns with Dharma Dharma Swanushti so Dharma Nitya Shri Dharma. This teaching is important in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna several times mentions this same point. In the 18th chapter again comes several places. Swadharma. Everyone has his own duty to perform. That's Swadharma. Swadharma means according to ashram and varna. There are 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So, as the cloth, you get the vertical and horizontal threads, and they make the cloth. So our prescribed duty is formed by the intersection of our varna and ashram. Some would say Brahman Rasta, some would say Kshatriya Rasta, some would say something else. Sannyasi. So according to our position, some is a Kshatriya. So according to the position of varna and ashram, there are some duties to because it is prescribed. It's not whimsical. You just go through life doing whatever you feel like. The Shastra prescribes the thing. Human life needs to be forward. There are different duties prescribed for different people and different situations. And we should know what our duty is from the direction of the Shastra. The Shastra prescribes how a Kshatriya should act, how a Brahmana should act, how a Vaishya should act. What is it? For Arjuna, his duty was fighting. So that was clear. That was his Swadharma. He's a Kshatriya, and therefore he should act as a Kshatriya. And Krishna is throughout Bhagavad Gita encouraging Arjuna, you should fight. That's the duty of a Kshatriya. Some people sometimes interpret Bhagavad Gita to be public. Nothing could be further from the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna alone was telling Yashva, you should fight. Where's the non-violence? But non-violence is appropriate for the Brahmins. We wouldn't want a non-violent policeman or a violent priest. The priest should be peaceful, not violent, and the policeman should be ready to use violence to protect the citizens. Similarly, a Vaishya, you should be enthusiastic about business. But we don't expect the Brahmin to be counting his profit. How much did I make on this sacrifice? So everyone has some prescribed duty. Shreyans, Sudhan, everyone. And every duty is covered by some fault. The Bhagavad Gita said that is, what is that? That's everyone's duty is covered by some fault. If you're cooking, then there's going to be smoke. That's a problem. But you don't say, well, cooking's too much trouble because all the smoke gets generated. If we're doing business, there's going to be some little bit of untruth. And my mother visited India. I think she was in Jaipur or someplace. And she never be a jewelry store late in the morning. And the proprietor was showing her, for you it's only this much because you're my first customer. That's not exactly a remunerative statement. For I should, that's part of this too. You're getting a special deal. For you, we're not even making a profit. And that's so sometimes the Vaishya has to tell some lie, sometimes the Kshatriya has to punish even the family members. Sometimes the Brahmin has to perform sacrifices on behalf of an unworthy person. Sometimes the Shudra has to serve and the master who's also whatever, if we switch to some other occupation, the other occupation will have its faults too. So we should stick to our own duty. Even if I may be able to do someone else's duty very well, if it's not my duty, I should think of the one. The sergeant might be able to make a better decision about the conduct of the war than the general. It's the general's duty to call the shots. If the sergeant starts, well, I could do this better. Not his duty. And there's so many things there. Sometimes when we take on someone else's duty, we're just meddling. Meddling in their affair. Or we get blamed because we're not doing what we're supposed to. We're not doing it. So Krishna says clearly, even though one may perform one's own duty with some mistakes, better to do that than to do someone else's duty very nice. It's understood. Better than, yes. Better to die following our own duty. So Dharma and Nidhanam to be destroyed and performing our own duty and to take on someone else's duty. Srila Prabhupada explains that prescribed duties, as we've discussed, are according to Varnashram, which suits our psychophysical nature. It moves the mind and body. Everyone's gotten a particular body from material nature. According to the body we've got, there's a particular kind of duty that suits us. Yes, come in. In and out.
Please come in.
Come in. We'll make this for you.
Yeah.
Make space for her because we promised.
There's already space. Okay. Hey.
My dear young man, and we're skipping.
Kapil Prabhu.
Arupin Shete. Thank you. I told you we would space. There's a lot of money in that book.
कहाँ लेके जा रहे हो भाई?
So, according to the body, we receive person particularly to be according to our natural. Or on the spiritual platform, whatever the spiritual master tells us. Not that, no, I would rather they came to this. Whatever the spiritual master, because finally on the spiritual platform, everyone is servant of Krishna, and everyone is meant to do whatever Krishna wants, whatever the best serve. Remember, I had one godbrother. He was staying in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was directing him to do things to help get the temple, start construction of the temple. And he didn't want to do it. And eventually he went off and did something else. And finally he left altogether. And he said that Prabhupada should have known that I was more suited to reading and bhajan than this kind of work. So that was his nonsense. The spiritual master directs you to do this, you do this. I said, no, I'm more suited to that. Also, in my analysis, is that Prabhupada most likely saw this person was going to flake out, reading so many books and hanging out with so many Babaji's and pretending to be spiritually advanced. So Prabhupada gave him some practical encouragement to save him from the nonsense that he thought, other things. So that's an offense in spiritual life, to disregard the orders of the spirituals. We should make the orders of the spiritual master constantly. So whether he tells me to speak and clean the toilet or to worship the deity, whatever instruction he gives me, I should take as my prescribed. And to do otherwise is dangerous. And let's stop here and see what kind of questions or comments. Do we have a second? Okay, we're just talking about. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the wonderful class. One question, I'm feeling a bit confused. Are we I mean, how do we get a class? Is it by birth? Is it defined based on in which family we are born?
How do we get a particular class, a particular part? Is it by birth? Is it a particular family? It is in part by birth. You know, I'm not going to be a heavyweight wrestler because I didn't get that kind of body. But it's not exclusively by birth. And that's stated explicitly by not going to Yudhishthira Maharaj. It says if you see that someone is born in one class, but he has the qualities of another class, he belongs to that other class. I'll probably give the example that there was, because Krishna says, Guna Karma Vibhavisha. According to one's qualities and one's practical activities. Prabhupada saw in Calcutta someplace that there was some man who was holding a table. And wearing a bum's thread. And his friend would say, hey, Panditji, such and such. What's the meaning of that? He's doing the work of Shukra. And he's Panditji. Panditji means a Brahman. No. No. According to our qualities, according to our that story is there. Who was that?
Jabaliman.
The boy came, wanted to be a student, so he was asked, "Are you a Brahmin?" He said, "Well, I mean, what was your father?" "No, I mean, no, what occupation?" "Come back and ask your mother." So he went back and asked his mother. His mother said, "I don't know who your father was." So he came back and told the sage, "My mother doesn't know who my father is." The sage said, "Yes, you're a Brahmin." Brahmin means truthful. Who was eager to say that my mother doesn't know who my father was. But he honestly said, the sage had said to me, according to the qualities.
Thank you, Maharaj.
The family heritage may give a natural path. I'm in Vrindavan, I was seeing that there was some flowers selling outside the temple. And he's looking water on the rose, and putting the older roses underneath, and all that kind of stuff. And I saw his little son is doing the same, and he's looking like he's been there doing it for 30 years. So it's natural thing. He gets the training. So he may also become a flower seller. But he doesn't have to be. If he develops other qualities, he can be something else. The son of a high court judge can become a good lawyer, a good judge. But he might become something else. Qualities and
Thank you, Maharaj.
Mhm.
I have a list of questions, but would you like to?
You told that Krishna says, make your duty and you can make faults, it's okay, but don't make others duties. And I don't want to get that thought that when I'm with
He
my
wants to be a little louder. That's a lot louder.
thought that it's better to do my duties with faults than other duties. And, the feeling that I had is I wanted to push away the thought that Krishna says you can make faults in your duties. So I don't want to go into that state of laziness. That's why how can I make my duty with the most in the most sincere way, and don't fix on can make faults. It's okay.
Yeah, Krishna's not giving Arjuna now that you can sort of, you don't have to fight all that hard. just be there on the battlefield. And no, it's expected that if you're going to be on the battlefield, you're going to fight, and you're going to fight to win. Not that you'll go there and say, well, I'm here, I'm doing my duty, good enough. I checked in. So it's not for laziness, but just do your duty, and if it's empty, you try to do it very nicely. But try to do your duty nicely, not somebody else's duty nicely. That's the one. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Just one small question. You mentioned that I should follow the orders of my spiritual master, but I don't have any access to my Guru Maharaj. So
He didn't give you any orders. Your spiritual master didn't give you any instruction.
not directly, because I never got a chance to speak to him personally. But how do I understand what I was?
So how do we understand what the spiritual master wants if we have no personal? Then he has some system. Either he's writing books and saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, or he has some system of authorities to follow him, follow him, follow him. Or it's follow the temple president, follow him. Something will be there. Right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so question solved. You said it was little.
Maharaj, when we are saying that there are these 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, and we are intertwined, and our duty is a prescribed duty, we see that these are under the influence of mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness, based on, because they're saying also the quality is guna. But are we not kind of moving from one guna to, one mode of material nature to the other? And is it also that our dharma is keep on changing? Because in a day, I'm not always in the mode of goodness.
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that these modes of nature mix. Yeah, 14:10. Rajastamas chavi purya sattvam bhavati bhavati. Rajastatam tamas chavi. Krishna says sometimes goodness prevails, passion and ignorance. Sometimes ignorance comes out, passion, goodness. So these qualities mix like colors. Yes, sometimes we're more passionate, something more classic. But there's a prevailing set of qualities. The Brahmins are supposed to be in goodness, Kshatriyas, passion. The Vaishyas, passion and ignorance, and the Shudras predominantly ignorance. These qualities will be there. It's not that someone's a judge, but he sometimes has other qualities. So sometimes he should be as an occupation or doing construction work. He's a judge. He may sometimes be more passionate, more. He may not get enough sleep or be a little lazy sometimes, but he's a judge. The policeman, sometimes he's, sort of easygoing mood. Sometimes he's in a tough mood, but he's not going to be a divinity student.
But then are we not saying that he is not doing his duty properly because of these influences of nature? Because if the judge is not judging properly,
He has to control it. If he's falling asleep over the legal arguments, he has to pinch himself or make sure his clerk is somehow he has to make sure he makes a fair judgment. We all have we may have some prescribed duty. Therefore, Krishna says better do your own duty, even if you do it with faults. That's a fault, but I'm a judge, and sometimes I'm not listening to the arguments that they came about my golf game. So it's a fault. But still, I have to do that work and not say, well, I'm not really a good judge. I should be breaking stones. We should try to do our duty very nicely. And we should know this is my work. Not that you start floating around. Well, this afternoon I feel more like a cowboy. You should stick with a particular duty. And among other things, society runs well. If I wake up in the morning and I don't know whether I'm supposed to be doing intellectual work or doing construction work or doing business, I'll be very confused. Or if I'm doing work which is not suited for me, I'm not going to be happy and I'm not going to be very good at it. You know, a person who's by nature, I have one devotee and it's just thoroughly fanatical. He tried to do a business, it's such a failure. You know, it just wasn't his nature. And some other devotee, he was a brahmachari, and he got married, then he started a business. By the way, it became $1 million business. You know, or lucky guy. So it's business is practical. It comes natural to him. So no use for him trying to pretend to be a scholar. It's natural in business. So the businessman in Krishna consciousness. That's the main thing. There will be some fault in every duty. And the adjusting factor is Krishna consciousness. If we're Krishna conscious, that takes care of all discrepancies. And if we're not Krishna conscious, then it's all useless anyway. Dharma Swanushtita, Sam Disvakshin Katasya, no Padiye Diduritim, Shame Megam. I may do my duty very nicely, but if I don't develop an eagerness to hear about Krishna, I'm just wasting. The point is not just to do the work, part of the human life is to become Krishna conscious. If I don't become Krishna conscious, I may be a very good husband, I may be a very good whatever. But my life is a failure. Without Krishna consciousness, my life will be a failure. However nicely I do my work.
Maharaj, just a follow on that. I mean, yeah. I mean, Hare Krishna movement, we try best to get into the mode of goodness. We try to acquire Brahminical qualities, but it doesn't mean that we try to change our original Varna. Or do we?
Yeah. Krishna consciousness means we're acting according to the spiritual master's direction. So we're ready to do whatever the spiritual master asks. And from one point of view, that means we're transcendental to Maharaj. At the same time, we have these material bodies, and there has to be some kind of work. There has to be some kind of social system. So this varnashram will help us. It's not Krishna consciousness, but it supports Krishna consciousness.
Thank you.
Maharaj, question. Sorry if I can ask further on this point that you're explaining, because just 3 weeks back in the same room, I and another devotee were discussing the same word about what is really our dharma. And if we are Krishna conscious, it is clear that our dharma is to be servant and serve spiritual master Krishna. But if we are still taking responsibility of family or at work,
Still, that's our dharma. But go ahead.
and then this changing from one varna or from one thing to the other, when it happens, how to also practice Krishna consciousness. As you were giving the example, someone moved from brahmachari, he became grihastha.
That's another thing. Try to discuss it. It's not an occupation, but it's function.
Okay.
Brahmacharya ashram means no other engagement, but to be engaged in following scripture. Also, the life means for spiritual cultivation. For us, the life means we have so many other duties. We have to make money. We have wife and children to keep happy. Education. So that would be time consuming. And then to begin your life, so many kinds of study, I can hardly generate. These burdens come. Then there's vanadrasta. We start to free ourselves from these burdens. So for spiritual life, the brahmacharya ashram is very nice. We don't have any other weight that we have to carry. But if we're in the grihastha ashram, then we serve the spiritual master of Krishna in that ashram. Not try to imitate the brahmacharis. We try to live like a brahmachari when they have a wife and children. It's foolish, dangerous. And for the brahmachari to live like a householder, that's all separate. Very much.
And when we take shelter and get initiated into, can we give up all the responsibilities of the varnashrama? Because
now I'm initiated, I don't have to be a householder anymore. My children can starve, my wife can make it. Not that I'm initiated, now I don't have any duties. But I have to perform those duties for the service of Krishna.
and this will also include the Shraddha ceremony for the predecessors, ancestors.
Different ceremonies, Shraddha and so on. Generally, those are duties. So they're accepted. Not that I just give up all the time. Sannyasi can give up all this. He has no relationship anymore to his body. He's dead. So it's but the grihastha, he can do. Of course, even in our Shraddha ceremonies, we're not interested in so many rituals and so many things that no one understands anything.
Yeah, thank you. So many questions, but
Lots of questions. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Well, my question is, in the state of Krishna conscious means transcending the three modes of material nature. So, in this Kali Yuga, how is it possible that a Brahmana can act like a Kshatriya? What circumstances can lead?
Just like the devotee, he may be a scholar, he may be whatever, but if it's necessary, he can pick up a rifle and shoot. I'll give you an example. Our temple it's happened more than once. It happened in New York, it happened in San Diego. Our temple was attacked by Vikings. So then our Brahmanically initiated devotees were ready to fight for the service of Krishna. They were practicing nonviolence and studying Vedic literature and so on. If you guys are going to attack Krishna, then you're ready to fight with him.
So in the service of Krishna, we can always
Can do anything.
one answer to us, right?
Just like selling books. That appears to be the business of the Vaishnava. Because it's Krishna's book. It's the business of the transcendentals. Looking after the accounts used to be the business of the Vaishnava. It's temple accounts. It's transcendental.
Maharaj, you once said in the class there's a danger of not making the transition from Grihastha ashram to Vanaprastha ashram. You give the example, it's like you're almost out of jail and you're punching the warden. With your example, I love this.
Well, yeah, that's specifically someone. It's like after 25 years of family life, then his wife dies or leaves him or something. Then he gets married again. So it's like being in jail and you're sentenced to one jail term just when they release you. Push the door.
So my question is, for me, it seems Vanaprastha is like somehow an empty space. You know, we're like an empty space. We have
It's not an empty space at all. Why does it seem like an empty space?
For me, it seems like an empty space. So for me, it seems Brahmacharya is clear,
Undefined.
undefined. Yeah.
I'm writing a book called Vanaprastha Adventure, which should fill that empty space. Video about the YouTube. They call. Anyway, if you look up, I think I have an official. I think I have an official channel. If you look there, you should find a seminar. So, 7 days or something. On the customers.
Krishna Maharaj ji. So, as a household, when we serve our children or wife or husband, how can we transform our mentality that when we're serving children or wife, husband, that we are serving Krishna in the form of children? So, how we can really come to that point?
Not that the children are Krishna, the wife is children. The wife is Krishna. That's essential. Must be having a big kirtan. Essentially says that the people in the house are your servants. I've forgotten the things that we've been. The people in the house are your servants. So the house is your house. So I'll see to all these things as your servants. Not that I have to see it all. My wife is Krishna. My children are Krishna. Krishna is Krishna. But the wife, children, they're all servants of Krishna. And they've been placed under my care. Just like the teacher, he thinks that these students are my responsibility. He doesn't think this is my child, he knows so much, but it's my responsibility. And parents have placed the child under my care. I have to do this understand it. Lord Krishna has placed these children under my care. I have to see to their welfare. Welfare finally means spiritual welfare. Yes, yes, we can deliver those sons who are in care of them, much as if they're to me. We shouldn't become husbands or parents to make things.
So that is also a devotion service when we try to bring them. So when we try to bring our children into the devotion service, so that is also
That's the real service. Prabhupada says in one purport, the service is counted when children become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, just that we bring up nice little army children. And we see that they got a good education, they got settled. It's all right, but without Krishna consciousness, it's more or less a waste of time. Yes.
Thank you for the class, Maharaj. How do we find our purpose
How do you find your purpose?
in regards to also the system,
In regard to,
also the Varnashrama system?
we should be guided from Shastra and from the spiritual master, from the experienced devotees, no guidance. Otherwise, we may speculate this way, that way. But we're less experienced, we may not know. So we take direction. Spiritual master or the spiritual master's representatives. So you do this, you do this, you do this.
Because there are so many services also.
That's all right. Then from another point of view, any service that you do for Krishna will be good.
Yeah.
Whether you're taking care of the accounts or you're running book distribution or you're in the kitchen, the devotee is ready to do whatever service. Not that, oh, this service doesn't fit my psychophysical nature. Any service for Krishna, that will be good. That would be good. But then, especially those who are the brahmacharis, those who are engaged in temple affairs, and those who are living outside, who have family duties and so on, then the spiritual minister can be consulted for guidance.
So I have a follow-up question. Many are living outside, like me now, without Grihastha ashram, but also not the temple.
We're friends by partial protocols and an ashram. And not disparaging but for some reason or another, some other thing fit in this ashram and that ashram. By circumstance, one of my disciples, who's the president of our temple in New Jersey, he's not married, he has no intention of getting married. They support him as elderly parents, their devotees, and his mother is the president. So that's the business of Grasta, still working. But he's not a Grasta, no wife is in the picture. Not exactly a brahmachari, he's working 9 to 5. No, Anashram, but Krishna conscious. So our main business is how do I become Krishna conscious? I may be this ashram, Anashram, no ashram. But maybe fully engaged in the service of Krishna. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna. We were speaking about the qualities of different
Qualities of
we are speaking about the qualities of different people. So since you are in very close association with Srila Prabhupada, I would like to understand what are the attributes that you have seen him, especially in overcoming adversity or challenges.
attributes of Prabhupada, especially
in overcoming the challenges of life or adversities in the life.
well, that's not a question for the last 2 minutes of the class.
We have
You don't really have that. Oh, okay.
your if it's okay, I mean,
No, that's fine. Well, that's sort of what I see. There's so many, the whole property of Bhagavad that you're reading. The whole history is adversity of becoming adversity. One example that I saw, just a simple. Prabhupada gave, was scheduled to give a series of lectures in Bombay. This was 1977. Maybe around And his health was declining to the point even to sit up there and sit. Be engaged. Politics or something else.
I'm not even trying to focus too much.
First of May. Yeah, you
Oh, yeah.
they don't want to do
Pre-day
This is a question also. When we say Labour Day, it's more of Udra's Day. Or when we talk,
They have no idea. So Prabhupada was scheduled to give this lecture, and his health was so bad that the devotees, two devotees, had to carry him onto the stage, and they, just placed him. Yes. And Prabhupada was sort of slumped over. But he said that I've come to encourage you and to be encouraged by you. So he just asked one disciple to read from him. The topic, I think, was Swami dogs, hogs, camels, and asses are praised by men who have no interest in the words of Krishna. So the devotee was reading, was just sitting. To allow Prabhupada said a word or two. And we were reading Prabhupada said a few words. Prabhupada said no more. But Prabhupada built up a momentum. And by the end, we was roaring. He gave such a powerful. And then he called for questions. And then he smashed all the nonsense. Ideas. So much adversity. And the ordinary person would just check into the hospital, wait for the end, take medication, and Prabhupada was out in the field. Something else, since we have more time. Yes.
I'm sorry that I asked you about that. So what about so ashrama that I really like your explanation, and what about the varna? How to
The varnas, what about them?
how to find your varna or your
Is, of course, from how to find your varna. From one point of view, in Kali Yuga, everyone's a Shudra and everything's messed up. The whole thing is a mess. But we should see our qualities and our natural tendency to work in a certain way, or be guided by those who have clear understanding. Just like this devotee, businessman, with this political background. Everyone advised him actually get out of business. His father was a Pujari in the South Indian temple, his grandfather. That's what he was, I think his natural. He tried to do business, it failed. So we should be, we can take guidance from those who have clear understand, just like the teacher. You know, they have what they call guidance counselors. And that's what they call it. It means that the counselor would see the young children and guide them. You're up for the university. You're up for technical school. You get a job. You should get into music, and you should get into theater. You should get into scholarship. The child sort of doesn't know what to do, but the experienced counselor sees this child is good for this child is good for this child is good for that. And talks to the child also. The child says, I'm enthusiastic for this. That's also an indication the counselor can see. Okay. First, you want to add something yesterday to anyone?
Regarding this question. Yeah, you're right. You get good advice from a realized, experienced person. At the same time, you should continue spiritual and
At the same time, continue
Spiritual life.
spiritual life, yes.
get in contact with somebody. Start back with sadhana.
That's the main thing. It's not that my life is perfect because now I know I'm a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, so I'm just going to get fully. The main thing is I'm servant of Krishna. Everyone's the whole purpose of the Varnashram system is to bring us to Krishna consciousness. It's not that we put Krishna consciousness aside so we can be perfect. Vaishya is so perfect. Be rightly situated. It's a problem. Even if I'm wrongly situated, you know, they put the wrong peg in the wrong hole. Still, if I'm Krishna conscious, my life will be successful. And if I'm not Krishna conscious, it's a failure. So that's the main. That's my real occupation. Therefore, Krishna says, sorry, don't give up every other occupation. This is the essential occupation, the eternal occupation of a human being, to be the servant of Krishna. Thank you. Yes.
Maharaj, my question to this is, sometimes you see that we are not yet matured devotees, and of course, Bhagavad Vidhi is higher than the Varnashram Vidhi, but we tend to neglect or saying, okay, I'm trying to become a devotee, though I'm not have become a good devotee. I'm not also doing the proper Varnashram system, and Krishna is saying to really do the prescribed duties. So if I don't do the prescribed duty, I don't purify myself. And when I don't purify myself, I cannot become a good devotee. So it's like artificially.
Both things I need. I need spiritual activities and I need some suitable work. Spiritual activities, chant 16 rounds a day. Initiate. Chant Hare Krishna. You jump on all those there, chant according to your strength. But for the initiated devotees, it would be 16 minutes. And follow 4 regular principles. No gambling, no intoxicants, no eating, no illicit sex. Associate with devotees. See the form of Krishna, respect, worship, all of these things, these are spiritual. But we all need to be engaged in spiritual activities above all. Above all. And then where there's actually Varnashram properly instituted, that's what everyone does. In Jaipur, the king, he made a temple for Govindaji in his backyard. His backyard was a little big, but that's what he did. He was a king, he had money. He made a temple for Govindaji, he established the worship. That's what he, and so he's a king, that's what he does. And then there are Brahmins, they do the puja. Then there's someone there, Kshatriyas, they control the crowd. And there's someone else, there's your Vaishyas, they handle the, the money side of things. This should all be for the service of the. So everything should be done for Krishna. So my spiritual activities are more, we tend to put our material activities first, my job, my family, my this, that. Someplace off in the corner, I have some spiritual, something. But the most important thing is to get free from birth and death. Therefore, spiritual activities should be in the forefront. That doesn't mean that we neglect our duties. I still have some occupation. I still have some duties as generally comes to the family. So I do all those things, but it's not disconnected from Krishna. The main point of it all is that it's done for Krishna. Otherwise, it's useless. I do everything very nicely, but the point doesn't happen. I miss the point. I don't know where I drive the car very nicely, and I have no idea where I'm going at. What's the use? There's a destination we need to reach. If we don't reach the destination, and even if you go, haphazardly, you don't quite follow the path or the right way to do it. But if you get there, then you go, well, as far as possible, we follow the traffic rules, we follow the good maps, we do all of this, and then we get to the destination. That's what we should do. But if you don't get to the destination, everything's ruined. And even if you did something, you went through a red light, whatever you did, but you got to the destination, all right, at least you got there. Yes.
Maharaj, on this same point, Maharaj, so we go on Sankirtan. Many times we end up distributing 0 books, and also someone doesn't come to temple, for example. So does this effort counts or?
Yes. Sidya Nirvika. Bhagavad Gita, don't consider success or failure. Many times Krishna says, don't consider success or failure. Prabhupada said the effort is the success. In material life, the success is the success. But in spiritual life, the effort alone makes it successful. You try to do something for Krishna. The result is up to Krishna. You did your part. You tried to serve. I gave the example the other night. We were talking about Jayadvaita. He tried to stop Ravan from abducting Sita. He was a great bird, so he flew into the sky and tried to stop Ravan's abducting Sita by his airplane. But he was old. Ravan cut off his wings and melted him. But he failed. Ravan took Sita and went. But Lord Ramchandra, upon finding Jayadvaita, he was so indebted, he personally performed the funeral ceremony. So much love and gratitude. Didn't consider how he failed. The effort is the success. Yes.
In the past, you were mentioning about when we talk about Kshatriyas, can a Kshatriya be still a devotee eating meat?
Can a Kshatriya still be a devotee eating meat?
Because in Kshatriya Dharma, they say they do.
Kshatriya Dharma, they do these things. Anyone can be a devotee. The prostitutes can be devotees. Anyone can be a devotee. Ahituki, apratiyata. Apratiyata means under any circumstances anyone can be. But we don't recommend. No, I'm a Kshatriya. You can also follow these rules.
So we don't recommend that he should stop eating meat.
We do.
We do.
Yeah. Anyway, what kind of kshatriyas are there? But you fight against a tiger hand to hand, and if you like, you can eat the meat. Not that I'm a kshatriya, so I go to the supermarket and buy a meat. That's, you just give direction. What kind of nutrient and sensory this in Jaipur museum, you can see these tiger knives.
Yeah.
You can fight with the tiger. Person, hand to hand, combat. The tiger has hands. Teeth. Tiger's a serious business. Yes.
Two questions. One is connecting to this, what Prabhuji asked. So is it really that in past Kshatriyas used to eat meat like Arjuna and all, they used to eat meat to fight?
Not that all the Pandavas, but the Kshatriyas used to eat meat sometimes. They were allowed.
But vegetarians, I mean, is it a message that only non-vegetarians can be powerful?
No. But they were used to. They were trying to themselves. All right. You want to eat meat, you can do that. You can kill some animals. So in the forests, they practice for fighting. If you like, you can eat also. But they don't have
To develop passion. To develop passion.
There's ways of developing passion.
I guess eating meat makes you tamas, right? It doesn't make you
It's sinful. That's the other thing. The Kshatriyas were allowed. Everything is allowed according to regulation. Even liquor is allowed. There's some sacrifice you have to perform that sacrifice, then you can drink the liquor. You want to eat, worship Kali, and you whisper into the goat's ear, now I'm killing you, you can kill me. So according to that, the point is, it's allowed, but it's restricted. It means all of the person will think of you kind of full of mind. It's not the same as gold, you can go back. But if you want to do it, you can do it. It's like the government. You can smoke if you want, but the cost of the cigarette is 10 cents, and the cost of the taxes will be 80 cents. Because the government wants to discourage you. Because then they know if we should prohibit it, people will make their own arrangements. So we don't know. Yes.
The second question I had, sorry to repeat the same another point which Prabhuji was discussing. Maybe because I'm stupid, I'm still confused about it. You mentioned in a line that for Krishna service we can do anything, like getting devotees taking gun or whatsoever. So what comes in this bracket of anything? Because
Anything.
because I can also
gave up everything. They had their homes, they had their husbands, they had their prestige. They gave up everything to serve.
But this is exactly my question, that like this, taking this message, people can then leave their families.
And you become a gopi first. Then you become qualified, then you can do anything. Principle is that for Krishna we can do anything. But not that now I'll do it, but now I've got a green light for anything I want to do. Not this sort of paste Krishna's name on it. But for Krishna's service, you can, just like in war times, if you have to protect your country, you can do anything. You can do anything. You can lie, you can steal, you can do whatever you do. You can kill. But not then, since I can do anything for my government, now I'll do anything I want. So yeah, I did that for the government. No. We should follow the directions. But we should know the principle. And the advanced devotees can do it. Not that the neophyte can just do anything. They're going to make a mess of his life. But if we see that advanced devotees and just like behavior is totally immoral, according to social convention, but they're situated in transcendental spontaneous love for Krishna. So their so-called immorality becomes the highest standard of purity. But if an ordinary person thinks, well, their gopis they have a boyfriend, so I'm the nice girl, I'd also like to have a boyfriend. Things and seeing so many stories. Then he becomes degraded. She becomes degraded. Not that we can imitate. Shouldn't imitate Krishna or the great devotees who are engaged in Krishna service. We have to follow.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. For a household, how important or how soon should a household think of going to for the Vanaprastha ashram?
How soon should the householder think of the Vanaprastha ashram? My recommendation is from his marriage day. You should start thinking about it.
Thinking to start on this too late. Then question is doing
Or before. Of course, it's not that during the ceremony his mind will be in the forest. But you have to plan. In any enterprise, any business, any undertaking, say, all right, here's where I am now. Where am I going to be 25 years from now? In business, they think like that, right? They don't think where are we going to be tomorrow. They think, okay, where's the business going to be going forward 5 years, projecting 10 years? Where are we going to be? And then, okay, because that's where we're going to be, we have to make this measure. In infrastructure, we're going to need this much infrastructure because we're planning on this level of manufacturing. So they have to meet at the right time. Otherwise, you've got all the orders coming in and you can't fulfill them. Or you've got all capability to fulfill it, but the marketing never got started, so you've got no orders. So you plan, okay, this time, here's where we have to be. So as a householder, I should know that by the age of 50, I should give up householding and enter the third stage of Vanaprastha. If I start thinking about that when I'm 49, I'm late to the party. I should think about that because then how I live in my grahastha will be guided by knowing that here's how long it lasts and here's my next program.
Then Maharaj, for ladies or women, what about Vanaprastha if the family life is not happy? The men can.
Anyone, if their family life is not happy, then Vanaprastha ashram is something to look forward to. Especially as we get older, family life isn't all that happy. The exciting young life becomes boring. and old. The valiant husband becomes dumpy. Sex becomes bad. Nothing all that great. And there's so many burdens. Work that, as young men, we're going to have a career, we're going to build it up, and we have a network, and we have ideas, and we have all sorts of possibilities and challenges, and da 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 da. And later it's like, how long am I going to do this? It's not exciting anymore. It's just, that's the natural, that's the way biology works. And the Vedic knowledge is in terms of biology. At the age of 50, they don't feel like working. At the age of 60, we definitely don't feel like working. But people are encouraged, no, you should work, you should work. No. Yeah. Because time is running out. I have no time to chant, I'm busy. Just like our Swami Prabhu, who's married now. His son's grown up, just begun his career. So he's traveling with me. He's not staying at home, reading the newspaper, watching Star TV. He's getting out. Some days he's in this temple doing service, sometimes he's in that place doing preaching. Now he's older, this is his business, building up his family life. And his wife's doing the same thing. She's serving in 2 temples, dividing her time between serving the steeds. So that's happy life. And that's, trying to extend, overstaying your visa. Something to look forward to. When I get in time to chant, get in time. When you look at the sun, you can chant, it can be and pray. Himself accepted the unprostration. I know his books he writes. I'm sure stay in the soul. We rushed to get out. We have a plan. So many years, then other indicates that life is not meant for permanent material. It's not completed. But across life means more freedom, something to look forward to.
Maharaj, I'm just curious, is there any minimum, like how many times married devotees needs to be on the street on Harinam and book distribution?
Is there any minimum how many times married devotees need to be on the street for book distribution? Well, let's see in the Quran, it's anything. As far as possible. It's not like this is what we do for fun. This is enjoyment. We work, we do so many things. When you get the opportunity to go out and share Hare Krishna, distribute books, meet people, this is happiness. If there's some rule about how many times you have to do this, is fun. In our ISKCON Press, the forerunner of BBT, we were located in Boston time. Actually, both ways. We were sometimes New York, sometimes Boston. And we had the most important work, let's say, producing his books. We were cheered up, that's what we did. Day and night, we were busy. The prophet said every day we should go out and kirtan for a while. And so we did, we jumped in a van, we were in Boston, we jumped in a van, go to Boston Common, and place, chant Hare Krishna Pranam, jump back in the van, and started work again. And our experience was that so many problems we would have had evaporate because we were chanting Hare Krishna. Everyone was chanting Hare Krishna, feeling happy. We can trouble better.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're gonna get that from Maharaj ki jai. We're gonna get Maharaj ki jai.
We do have some more.
If someone would like to have this wonderful opportunity to have this wonderful book, this is written by Jayadvaita Maharaj, and it's award-winning book. It's very, very invaluable, priceless. But of course, you can give some donation, 15 euros or more. And how many copies can we offer?
Whatever you see here, I think we even have some more copies. Three more copies.
Yeah, we have copies. Come forward, and if Maharaj you're here, can you also leave an autograph or a note?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Thank
you. Awesome.
Yes.
This is a commentary on the biblical book of Ecclesiastes. No, thank you. The first 10